Your gang, we are in the building. I am in Miami, Florida, and I got my dogs with me. I got Q Banks, I got Anthony's World, and I got Lambo Raul. And as you know, we recently just launched MarketMemo, a trading journal where we are making traders better. And over the last few years, we've obviously become some of the biggest names in this space, changed thousands of lives, and we want to do it again. So we thought today the best way to do that is to give you guys value. So we took a bunch of questions that you guys asked us directly on Instagram, and right now we are going to just sit down together and just answer them for you guys. So Anthony, please explain how we're going to start this process off with them cards.
Yeah, so, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really know until I did this one right now. I didn't know that's what we were doing. But no, so I'm gonna shuffle every time, we're gonna ask questions, I'm gonna pass a card around to everybody. Whoever gets the highest card answers the question first.
Let's do it.
Make it fun.
Let's do it. I got the first question already.
All right, let's go. Let me not embarrass myself shuffling.
Go ahead.
Let me actually do this right. All right, go ahead, cut it, sir. Cut it. Ooh, there's some busty cards.
Let's do it. One. All right, ready?
3, 2, 1.
Ooh, on you.
All right.
Anthony's World, question number 1. What was holding you back from being a profitable trader when you were unprofitable?
I'd actually say the biggest thing that held me back was really not knowing what type of trader I was. I didn't know what I was looking for in the market. I knew like, I was looking for a buy or sell, but I didn't know what fit me the best. I found out that after, everyone knows about the $100 challenges, I just took a penny. I just traded every day. And I did that, and it's all I used is a penny lot for the entire year. Ended up finishing the year like 82% in profit. And I mean, that's only $82, but I learned so much about me trading. I learned that I'm a better seller. I learned that I trade better in New York session. And that was really the accountability factor, I think, that took me to becoming profitable. I went from unprofitable for 4 years, 5th year, making $82 in profit, and then after that, I was able to start really making money.
Yeah, it seems like there's like this flip that just switches. You know what I mean? Because a lot of traders out there, like they don't know what they're doing, and some of them are actually qualified traders. Like on either you guys' prop firms, like you have some good traders, but they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what their best, pairs to trade are. They don't know that they should be trading London and not New York. They try to change their trading to adapt to their lifestyle, as opposed to the opposite way around. Like they try to make New York work when they literally have lost New York session 16 times in the last 20. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
So learning that, I think that's just the key. And it took me a lot longer than it took a lot of most people. It took me 5 years. Like that's a long time. But that switch, when it flipped, it was like, okay, now I know. Because now I have confidence in myself in the trading. Like in the trades that I'm taking, I'm more confident. So it's like, I know I'm not gonna lose 6 trades in a row, because over an entire year span, I never lost more than 6 trades in a row. So I know that if I want to over leverage maybe a little bit and I want to risk 10%, well, I know I'm not going to lose more than 5 or 6 trades in a row, so I'm not going to be able to lose the account.
And how'd that play out on the opposite end? Meaning that like when you lost the trade, did you know like the older you were like a revenge trader, so you knew not to do that again when you started tracking?
That and just keeping consistent with the entire accountability of everything. So really what was for me was I would start with the same risk and I would finish with that same risk.
Got it.
So if I would lose a trade, I wouldn't change my risk parameters. I always risked, whatever it was, 3%, 4%, whatever I started the month with is what I finished the month with that same account balance. So it's just really knowing what type of trader I am, being confident in me.
And what about you, Q? How did you figure out what type of trader you were? Because a lot of people see you online and you'll have these massive days, 500K, 600K, and you take, a little bit more risk than the average person, but it works for you. How did you get to that point to where you knew what you were comfortable with?
I think it was more just dabbling in like the kind of lot sizes and like kind of like realizing like what time frames work best for me. Like for me, like now, like I realized that like I shouldn't be focusing on the daily and H4 too much. I do very, very well if I'm on like M5, the 15 more often compared to if I'm on H1, let's say 80% of the time. I have to be on the M5 80% of the time. So like I'm looking for more of like the fluctuation moves versus just like the overall move. Because if I get so stuck on the overall move, I lose track of the details that pretty much made me the profit.
It's actually interesting that you said that, because when you mentioned the daily and the H4, you can't be on that too much. this goes back to what you said, knowing what type of trader you are, because even when I was coming up learning, and I know a lot of my students are the same way, where it's like, I would learn from somebody, let's say on YouTube, and they would be teaching the daily and the H4.
And that's more swing.
Exactly, and I would adapt to that when I had no money and I'm trying to day trade off the H4 and daily. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But keep in mind though, like, it's not like it's not like I'm swing trading, but at the same time, like I like to actually see enough details so I'm able to actually get into trade and not see as much drawdown compared to a person that's entering on like the M30 and that kind of stuff. So I like to actually be in like a time frame that I'm seeing the fluctuation, but it tells me if I'm wrong as soon as possible.
Got it.
Compared to losing unnecessary money because I already seen the red flags and everything from those lower time frames compared to like on the M30, it takes a while to actually see that red flag.
Got it.
You know, so like I like to be as wrong as possible, quick compared to finding out way later on and losing unnecessary money.
Real quick, I got a quick question. What's your favorite time frame to trade on? You had to pick one. You can only pick one.
One for forever?
Forever.
5 minutes.
15.
Nah, I'm a H4. I swing trade. I don't day trade anymore.
Oh, you're one of those.
I swing trade.
My bad, bro.
Nah, I made a good amount of money day trading, but now, I mean, we all got the same thing. We got kids and we got businesses and stuff, but like, I can't do it no more. I got to swing, bro. I got too much stuff going on right now. You know?
Yeah, I mean, mine's hard. During the election, because before that, I was always H4 daily. And then during the election, I had to switch to the hour. I'm not gonna lie, I lost like 2 or 3 trades in a row, and I was like, this shit ain't working for me. And the higher time frames, and then I switched to the hour, and then I've been on a nasty streak since.
What about you? What do you think was holding you back when you were unprofitable to being profitable once you finally got to being
It
profitable?
was myself.
What do you mean with yourself?
I was holding myself back because I would make a ton of money, and going back into my statistics, I would always give it all back, potentially even more, in a single day from either 1 or 2 losses. Like, one pattern that consistently repeated itself for me, at least in the very beginning, was that I would make a ton of money. I'd go on this crazy run, and I take one trade that just causes that entire downfall, and it's just constantly chasing that one loss back, and I'd get back all that profit to potentially even blow the account. And I would just be stuck in that cycle, and it wasn't until I realized that cycle was even a thing is what kept me there the entire time.
Yeah, because like you could be in like a rhythm that's like good. You know what I'm saying? Like you have like one win, and then after that one win, it flows super nice. But once you have that one loss, back-to-back losses.
Got it.
So I think like even after like a loss and everything else, like you got to pretty much like take a step back and reanalyze like what's going on, like what went wrong, and then go back in so like you're not pretty much getting cluttered.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
To me, it wasn't even about like just taking the loss, because I could take losses like on the way up. It was about taking one loss that I wanted to make back. And then I just kept digging myself deeper and deeper and deeper in the hole, and like 80% of the time I would never recover from that hole and have to start a new account. Maybe 20% of the time I would recover from that hole and continue to go on, but it was just constantly that one thing. The only thing that saved me during that time was withdrawing.
Do you feel like if you wrote down what happened during that loss, you would have been better off, you think? Or
no,
was it like a mental thing? Like, yo, like
it was just a mental and a discipline thing. I couldn't rip myself off the computer.
Yeah.
I just kept chasing that loss, and bro, you know what started off as a great trading day, a green trading day, I could even have made 10 grand that day, but because I wanted to make 15 and I took a loss, and I was like, damn, I'm only up 5, let me just try and make 5 back, and then I lose and I'm break even on the day. It's just consistently chasing that to get that back.
So when you're trading like that and going through those emotions, it's just you and you, like you by yourself. Same with all you guys. We've seen AI, kind of take over this world. Obviously, all of us use ChatGPT. I mean, we've heard OpenAI's valuation looking to be one of the biggest in the world. How do you think your life would have been changed? And all you guys answers as well. Like when you guys were coming up, when like 2018, 2017, 2016, 2015, if there was something there that would tell you flat out, hey, like get off the charts. You're doing too much right now at this point in time, or you've lost your last 3 trades. Stop trading right now to at least let you. Because I feel like a lot of our, no offense, a lot of our students and fans, some of them want to be babysat and be told what to do. And it's hard to do that in this trading industry. But however, with AI coming about, how do you think that could play a factor to helping traders become successful a lot better?
Oh, I think it's huge. If I had something like MarketMemo is, or especially will be, back then, I would have completely shortened my learning curve.
Really?
110%.
How long did it take you to become profitable?
Bro, like 2.5, 3 years.
Anything would have been shorter had you had that?
Oh, 100%.
I agree.
100%. Because I just wasn't picking up on the repeated mistakes that I was making. I mean, just think about it this way, right? Think about all the shitty trades that you took this year. How much money that costed you this year versus not taking those shitty trades. You'd probably be up an extra few $100,000 if that was the case. You know, and you would have saved yourself a few $100,000 and potentially made an extra few $100,000 by not making those shitty mistakes.
Correct. And if I had the data, you know, early on in my journey, like you said, it could have shortened my learning curve. Because a lot of times I would see a lot of my friends in these chats or communities on Facebook back in the day, and even YouTube, where they're trying to trade Euro JPY, and I don't trade Euro JPY, but I see them going crazy on EJ, so I'm trying to jump in on that when I have no, you know, feedback
history.
Or history. I have no history with that whatsoever, and I'm doing that because all my friends are doing it. But if I had something that told me, hey, you're better off on Euro USD, my mindset on Euro USD was like, oh, it's too slow. But Euro USD was my best, you know, pair trade in 2015. But I tried to make money so much faster that I deviated from what was best for me. You know what I mean? So,
and a big point that I want to also say, like, so many people talk about learning from their losses. Go back and backtest your losses. And then one thing that really helped me when I went through my journey of learning trades is studying my wins. Like, I'm a big believer in study your wins as well. Don't just study your losses.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when they win, they kind of downplay it. Like, I just made $200, no big deal. But then when they lose, like you said, they study why they lost, but they never study the wins.
So when you're studying the wins, and so when you can see, so that was the big thing that I did is I realized, like, I didn't just remove my losses. What I was trying to do was add more wins, because losses are inevitable.
Yeah,
we're all gonna have red days. We're all gonna have red weeks. We might have red months. We might have red trades. That's just what's gonna happen. But, you know, maximizing your wins. Like, I mean, there were so many things that, like, I learned, like, that if I held my trades longer, then I was actually more profitable. And so, like, there was just a lot. So study your wins. I think study your wins.
That
too. Go ahead, Keelan.
Like that shows you like what you're doing right, and keep on like trying to do like what you actually did to even win that certain trade.
I feel like, I feel like you and me relate to this a lot too, because we know like what our like bread and butter setup is. We know our setups that are most profitable. So instead of just taking a 1% risk on it, like the majority of people do, we double down on those setups that really make us the money. And that's where we get those 100, 200K days from.
Oh, and keep in mind, like, I learned a thing over the past, like, maybe year and a half and everything else, right? Like, stop trying to hit home runs every single trade. Because, like, having those 100K days and so on, it gets, like, addicting at times,
it does.
Right? To the point that you're not satisfied with a 10K day or 20K day.
At all.
Which is bad.
Crazy.
It's funny you bring that up, because that literally happened to me 2 years ago, where, you know, when the markets were dumping, the Fed just kept raising rates. I was having like literally back-to-back 100K days. So I'll be floating 50, 60K, and I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this? Like, I feel poor right now. Right? I need more than this. And I would keep chasing that, and I went on this crazy run. I made literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. But then when the market conditions changed and we were no longer going bearish, we started chopping around before a big push to all-time highs. I lost $250,000 so fast, I was like, I need to stop. I need to stop. And even like for weeks after that, I would still try and chase those home run trades with big size. I'd be up 30, 40 grand. Trade ends and break even.
See, but if I was able to actually see like all of my analytics, I think I would have been a bit more aware of like what's going on as to like why I'm taking these back-to-back losses, because I'm trying to actually chase something that's not there anymore. You know? Or just actually being able to be satisfied by adding to the account slowly. And I think if I see stats, I'm more comfortable with those small gains and that kind of stuff, you know? Because if I don't have stats and everything, I'm trading for just the trade.
It's just interesting that like in every single thing that we watch, you know, all type of sports, NFL, NBA, MLB, there's stats for like everything. He is not a three-point shooter. Get him, like, you know, let him shoot if he wants to. He's gonna miss every single time. But when it comes to trading, we just trade, not us, but like the coming up and students, they just trade with no direction on what they're doing. Like they think they know what they're doing, as opposed to what do the actual numbers and stats actually say.
They're just looking for their account to grow.
That's it.
And that's all they care about, versus like looking at like what their average win rate is, average R multiple, et cetera, et cetera.
Average time frame, average time trading, you know what I'm saying? Average session, like all that stuff like that.
Trading volume.
That matters,
It matters
like even like in basketball and everything, like what quarter that player actually makes the most money.
Correct, exactly. He's a fourth quarter player or he's a first quarter player, and you can't play him in the fourth quarter because he fouls too much. Like, it matters a lot.
Even the best baseball hitters in the world, their AVA is 0.23. That's like some of the best in the world. And so like base hits are big. Like I went through that after my big trade, the 1,000 lot trade. It took me 2 years to recover from that after I made the most money in my trading career. It took me 2 years to really recover from after that. Like, and then one thing that I did too that helped me was every time I'd win a trade, I would withdraw 70% of that profit.
That's a very good idea.
So like I would win a trade, instantly withdraw 70%. I was withdrawing 3 times a day sometimes.
Yeah.
But I would just do it every single time.
Just to like reward yourself.
Yes.
You know what's funny about that? You said that it took you like 2 years to recover from that. I'm still recovering from that crazy run. Like I still have not been able to put on that large of a size just simply because I'd always want to chase like those really big moves in the markets instead of literally just focusing on like my base hits. So I've had to reset my size completely and build myself psychologically again from the ground up and just focusing on, okay, 5K days, 10K days, 15K days, and slowly
that's
building
great days.
back up.
And if you have a home run day, then
great.
cool.
But then I'm going back to just focusing on my base hits.
second base.
That's why it's
third
hard
base,
to like actually chase
And
home
I'm more
runs.
profitable that way.
It's hard to chase home runs because it's like you said, like a Hall of Famer is 3 out of 10. Like you bat 300, like that's a Hall of Famer. You strike out 7 times, get out 7 times, you hit 3 times, you're a Hall of Famer. And when you just chase home runs so much, you're gonna strike out a lot more than you usually would. You look at Aaron Judge from the World Series, he messed the entire Yankees, whole World Series situation up because all he was doing was swinging for home and he struck out so many different times. So it's like if traders realize that,
14 in a
it was a
row.
lot, bro. It was bad, you know? So it's like if you just focus on getting hits, the home runs, like you said, will actually come along the way.
Yeah, and I feel like, especially me in the past too, when I would always try and chase a home run, I would take so many losses along the way. By the time that home run does hit, I barely am in the green. I'm barely in the green. And then when I find it just taking my base hits nowadays and just focusing on like a 2R or a 3R multiple on a daily basis, my account grows so much faster. So much faster. But when the home runs do come, I don't push for it. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Love that.
Okay, you can do the cards, but I'm gonna ask the question right now. What do you think is better to helping traders become more profitable? More time on the charts or more time understanding your entries and exits?
Ooh.
Good one.
3, 2, 1.
What do we got?
3.
Oh, it's me. I don't know. So for me, it's like I believe it's more time understanding your actual entries and exits because I kind of think that kind of coincides with, you know, what again you said, what type of trader you actually are. Because you can have all the time in the world on the charts, and I do believe chart work is very, 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 very important.
Chart time.
Chart time is very, very, very important, you know? But I feel like if you don't understand exactly what session you actually traded and then your actual entries and exits, it's gonna be, like you had mentioned earlier, about like your average trade time. Like you're gonna try to be in a trade for, 3 days when it should be your overall average is 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. So I think there has to be some type of balance. But I think if you had all the chart time in the world, but you don't understand what you're actually doing in terms of actually getting in and getting out, it's going to be a little bit counterintuitive. Where it's like, if you understood what you were doing, the entries and the exits, the chart time is going to come because of that. If that makes sense, a byproduct of it.
Yeah.
Remember, like if you're on the charts for like a long period of time, like that pretty much gives you more risk to even losing more. Also,
yeah, because you're just looking for something, and it may not be there.
And then you're taking more unnecessary trades at that point.
I feel like in the beginning, you really just got to get those reps in. Like a lot of people are actually scared to actually trade and execute, but it's the same thing as if somebody is going to go and try and get into the NBA. Unless you're at the court every single day trying to shoot, then you're not really doing anything.
You got to take the risk in some kind of way.
I mean, I believe personally, like, not to go against you, but I believe chart time.
Really?
Yeah, I just think chart time, like, I've always been a big believer. Chart time. I believe your eyes will eventually start to recognize patterns. And like, I think that what makes a successful trader isn't a certain skill set, isn't a certain strategy, isn't a certain time frame, isn't none of that. I think it truly is the person that doesn't stop. Because like, if you don't give up, eventually you're gonna get sick and tired of losing money, and you're gonna have to change something. And so like, I believe that, now don't get me wrong, like, do I think if you put all those steps into place, they can help you and they're gonna benefit you? Absolutely. But I think you have to stick with the chart time, because like, if you stick with it long enough, you're gonna get it. Like, you're just absolutely gonna get it. Everyone can do this. So that's the beautiful part.
I say yes and no, because at the same time, like if you have chart time, yes, but you don't know what you're looking at, then it doesn't really help anything, So I think it's very important to actually understand what you're looking at to even like make that chart time even like.
Well, you have to have a basis.
Yeah.
You have to have a basis.
Because like for example, like yes, like it does give you the muscle memory and everything to like see these certain patterns, but at the same time, like you got to pretty much like study the patterns to even understand, like, is this pattern an entry pattern, an exit pattern, like so on and so on, to then make that chart time even worth it.
Yeah.
Because you could have, let's say, like whenever a person said that they've been trading for the past like 3 years. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, but are you profitable?
Yeah.
Oh no. So technically, like, it doesn't really matter about the 3 years then. Correct. You know? So
Damn, son.
it has to make sense. So like, if you've been pretty much like putting in 10,000 hours of chart time, which you're not profitable for the 10,000 hours, then it's not really worth anything. You know. So I think it's a nice balance between chart time and then pretty much understanding your entries and exits, because it has to pretty much like be used at the same time in some kind of way.
Yeah, I'm kind of like in a mix between both of your guys' opinions on that, because at the same time, yes, like experiencing and getting that chart time in is important, getting those reps in is important, and experiencing price action live is just as important as well, compared to like the people that spend all of their time backtesting but they never actually trade. It's like you're just clicking through the charts, and you just click through 4 hours worth of data in 15 seconds. I mean, of course, you're going to trade a lot better in that type of situation and environment, right? But at the same time, you can't just trade just to trade, not know what you're doing, because you're going to build bad habits along the way, and then to break those bad habits, it's going to be even harder. But the experience thing is also a big factor too. It's like, we all know like that one statistic, like 90% of traders lose 90% of the trading capital in like 90 days.
Correct.
I don't believe that's like a real statistic of 90% of traders don't make money in the long run, because that's like a very short analysis on people who only trade for 3 months, get frustrated and quit. It's like, what about the traders who trade for 5-10 years consistently?
Eventually,
where are they at? Eventually they are going to get to a point where if they're putting in, more importantly, the right type of work, they are going to make it. If they really are looking to consistently improve, they have a system, they have an edge inside of the markets, and they're not just simply just taking just random trades to take trades, then they will at some point hit a point where they're actually making more money than they're losing, and they become profitable.
Yeah, but remember, like, these things can be like, okay, how profitable is the person?
Correct.
Because they could be 1% profitable.
Yeah, and it all depends on the
like,
person,
like
individual.
How profitable are they?
And that's the thing too. I feel like there's also like percentage groups of the profitable traders. Like there's the traders that, just get by. There's the traders that maybe, only make a couple $100 a month, a couple thousand. And then you get into like the 0.001% traders that make, a couple thousand a day, and then a couple tens of thousands a week and month, and millions and tens of millions. It's all different levels. And it just really depends on the individual, their tolerance to risk, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
It's funny, we can talk about this all day, and we're already at 20 minutes in the video. I feel like let's do at least two or three more questions, and we can end it. So, but I know the audience is going to love it flat out, because they're getting a whole bunch of value. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Oof. Damn. Oof. Anthony's World.
8-8. Yep.
All right. So, question number 3. What advice would you give someone who plans all of their trades to a T, but has fear and does not execute?
Do you want the real answer, or do you want my Anthony's World answer?
Be as raw as possible. Hey, yo.
Man, you have to get over that shit, dog. You just gotta get over that shit, man. Like you can't live like that. Like, you started trading for a fucking reason. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you started trading for a reason, and you want to make some money. Like, so
you got to get the reps in.
I didn't want to say don't be a bitch, but don't be a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta do it, because like that's part of learning. That's part of the execution. And like, you can be like you said something the other day, one of y'all said something, you can be a really good analyzer, but you're not a good trader. That was like, that was me. And you know what? Like, I like that. And some people in this world are like that. I mean, look at Kobe's coach. Look at LeBron's coach. You know what I mean? Look at Michael Jordan's coach. Look at all of them. Yeah. They're coaches for a reason. And that's okay. It's okay to be a coach. Yeah. Like, you can still be a very good, like, that's a good thing to be. And you can create some of the best students. So this like whole myth of like, oh, you need to be a great trader and all this, sometimes you don't. Like, coaches are coaches for a reason, but get in there and play the game. Like, you gotta take the shots.
That's the only way.
Yeah, it's the only way.
I kind of like see that as like a person that pretty much only, they say like they read about playing basketball, but they've never ever been on the court.
Never actually do it.
They want to do it so bad, but they never do it.
That's funny. This is why Stephen A. Smith, we all know Stephen A. Smith, the analyst. It's funny because he gets killed online, or not online, in person, when like KD or Kyrie or JJ Redick comes on the show. Because they're just like, you can talk it all you want. You were not in those locker rooms with me. You were not on the court. You know what I mean? Then he never has a response to that because he's an analyst. You know what I mean? He was never.
It only means so much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I don't know. To me, I see a lot of people as being fearful of failure. To me, I'd rather fail 10 times than never actually try and do something.
Correct.
Than never actually try and chase my dreams, chase my goals, whatever that case might be. I'd rather fail on my face a million times, but at least I know that I gave it my all versus not doing anything at all.
What do you think is a step to help them get over that?
You just got to do it. It's the same thing. Imagine everybody or all the people that read about going to the gym and how to go to the gym and how to, get the right nutrition in, but if you never do it, what does it matter?
I think like when they like to get over that, like that concept for me was back in 2015. I was like, yo, like damn, like I just lost this money. So, but that money could have been made. So like now I got to figure out like what went wrong to make that trade a loss.
Correct.
Once I understood that concept, I was hooked because that money could have been a win.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
For me, it was like I said, the penny thing. Like I would recommend him take every trade that you're thinking about taking. Just lower your risk so small that you're not gonna like affect you.
Yeah.
I used to tell people all the time, like take a dollar bill and crumble it up and throw it on the ground.
You know what?
People do that all the time, but as soon as they open their phone,
I know what you're about to
they
say.
see that
I
red
know.
screen and they're like panicking.
Correct.
You're like negative 24 cents. Like it's not like you gotta get comfortable.
I'm a little bit 50-50 about that because like long term, it doesn't set like realistic expectations of what somebody would want to be. Like I agree, do it.
Yeah.
But the problem is they're gonna get so bored of it. But it is a good way to get your feet actually wet and to
With
get
the pennies?
started. Yeah, bro. Trading like what is it, like a cent per point?
They forget about the account. That's what.
Yeah.
Like they don't care about it to the point that like it'll just be negative and they're like, yeah, whatever.
I don't know why, for
imagine
me,
if,
I've never had that.
But imagine
I
if
never had
they're
that fear.
using,
No?
Never.
they're using MarketMemo and they do forget about it, and then they can it's at the end of the day, it's just numbers on a screen, right, guys?
Correct.
It's just numbers on a screen. So imagine
even real.
if they can do it, and they're using MarketMemo to actually track, and they do forget about it, then they can learn that they can do that with a $1,000 account. Then they can do it with a $10,000 account. Then they can do it with a $100,000 account. Then they can do it with $1 million account.
0.01 is as close as to demo as you could get, but still like,
Correct. But still get your emotions out in the world.
That's what I'm saying.
You know?
Do you think that any given person that is a trader could actually trade in like the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollar level? Do you think that's something that's like you develop over time, or is that something that's like it's in you?
mentally, like a person has to be there mentally. Like I think like just numbers wise is easy, but mentally not everybody has like they could digest
Not everybody
negative
does.
$100,000.
Yeah, there's a
kind of stuff.
big difference in fluctuation in P&L from a couple $100
Correct.
to tens of thousands in P&L, or even hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, I showed you last night.
Yeah,
Listen, no, so I was about to actually bring that up, but I'm not. I'll do that for the next
not
question.
my place.
But yeah, it's not my place.
It's what?
I was gonna bring that up. What you were about to say?
What was that?
What you showed me last
You
night.
showed us yesterday.
Oh. Yeah, I mean that like you guys gotta get comfortable with it. I feel like pressure makes diamonds, right? So like
It does,
eventually
I'm working my way back up there. Like right now, I'm comfortable seeing fluctuations of P&L like the tens of thousands of dollars range, but I'm preparing myself mentally to see fluctuations of P&L of like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
All right, 2 more, and then I promise, guys, we'll be done.
Oh, we gotta show them this game too.
Oh, at the end, we'll play at the
At
end.
the end, yeah.
All right, ready, set.
Queen. Let's get it.
My guy Q. Okay, question number 4. What is a good monthly profit and a good risk to reward ratio?
That's subjective.
That's subjective.
It's always subjective. Like I think like first things first, like you gotta pretty much like based on like how you're currently living, and you gotta like first base your initial profitability factor based off of you trying to replace your income based off of like your job or like that kind of stuff first. And then eventually once you get over that hump, then you can pretty much like, add the extra money on it and that kind of stuff. So like it's very, very subjective. Like me personally, like I need to make a couple $100,000 to actually feel comfortable.
So it's
a month.
actual dollar.
Yeah, like
I got
that.
you.
But that's me though,
No,
like
no, for sure.
a person that pretty much is used to only seeing like, let's say $3,000 a month and that kind of stuff. Like obviously like they need less and everything, but at the same time, like it's based off of like however they're currently living, they're on bills, like how much extra they want to spend. Like it's all based off of like that person's lifestyle at that point in time. It's very, very different.
It is, and I also feel like, once they understand like who they are and how to trade, like I'm not saying more money in your account is gonna make you a better trader, because it absolutely will not. But if you know who you are, like you said when you did that whole the penny lot type of thing, once you know who you are and the type of trader you are, and you actually find some consistency, just simply having a larger account, but being that same trader who found out who they were, can be so much better. What I mean by that is that like 5% on a $100 account is $5, but that same 5% on a $100K funded account on anybody's prop firm is a whole lot different.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that people got to understand that it's not necessarily about, at least for some traders, it's not. Don't try to have, I got to have a 80%, monthly profit every single month.
But that's the thing though, like nowadays it's very hard to actually get over that hump because they're going online on Instagram and they're seeing everyone make.
Correct.
So like
So then they get into the prop
Yeah,
route that
but
way.
no, but look, like
That's how it's a circle.
nowadays compared to like back then and that kind of stuff, like it was only so many people that was
Correct.
making $1,000 a day and that
Correct.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Nowadays, 10K day, 5K day.
30K day, yeah, no
bro.
big deal, yeah.
I think like the term big profit or good profit is very, very different nowadays compared to like how it was years ago, because
Correct.
nowadays, like, I mean, it's so much more accessible to see a person that's making $1,000 a day. Like, it's common now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's more intimidating to see that, like, you could actually get on and not be satisfied with making a $500 a day. You're not, you won't be satisfied with that. Like, you will keep on trading to the point that you take a
Correct.
loss, and then all of a sudden, like, it turns into like a red day.
Yeah.
You try
Yeah.
and force.
You try to force
you
it
try to
because-
force yourself to be somebody that you're not yet.
Yep.
Yeah, because
You
you're
try and
watching
force
that
yourself
person
into a
on
different level.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Yep.
100%.
One of my
Outside.
students, it was actually really cool. It's one of my students, and I was teaching him, and like I was like, okay, like what do you want to do? And like he actually really thought about it, and it was really cool. His first goal was just to be able to pay his phone bill, and he did that for 3 months. And then his second goal was to be able to pay his phone bill and his electric bill.
Yeah.
And then he did that for 3 months. And he kept setting these goals,
That's
and
actually
these
dope.
really like super realistic goals. I mean, a phone bill, guys, is like
It's a build-up.
$100,
Yeah,
you know what I
it
mean?
counts.
And then he did that, and then he would withdraw the profits and pay his phone bill. And then he would keep the account building. Then he add another bill, then he add another bill, and then he add another bill. And then I was just talking to him, and next thing I know, he's making 15, 20 grand a month consistently trading now.
And that's what I like,
feel that.
because he knew what he was and what he wanted to do and the goals. He wasn't trying to get into, you know, I'm trying to be somebody that I'm not and get here within the next month. Because you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier that like it's video game numbers. It's just numbers on the screen basically.
It is,
but when you actually like make it tangible and take that $100 or $200 out and actually pay for something that
You have to withdraw.
you have to withdraw.
yeah.
And it changes your life in terms of, oh, my bills are paid from this trading thing. It's like positive reinforcements that like, okay,
Yeah.
now I gotta do more here. You
Yeah,
know what I
like
mean?
people think that it's a game until you actually have that first withdrawal and you see it hit the bank account. Then you're like, wow,
Then
like,
it's
I can
real.
actually use this now.
It's
you know?
real.
Yeah, you know what's funny to me? The amount of people that tell me, yeah, you know what, I'm gonna trade prop, get funded, and then when my first withdrawal, I'm probably gonna leave like 50% in the funded account just for some cushion. I'm like, bro, what?
Withdraw it. Feel the money. Feel the money.
Take the money and run, baby.
It's not real until you take it. All right, last question. Let's do the ready,
3,
set,
2.
go. Boom. Okay, last question.
I don't think Raul won one.
What?
You didn't win any of them, did you?
No.
You can answer this one. How do you manage consistency when learning how to trade and delayed gratification? I guess delayed gratification, we kind of just answered that right now, I guess, but how do you manage consistency when it comes to trading, to being a better trader?
I think the only way to be consistent in the markets to begin with is to have a consistent approach to the markets, and then everything else will start to fall in place in terms of consistency. Like I feel like a lot of people, when they mention the word consistency and you put it around trading, they think of P&L, which you're never gonna have a consistent P&L if you don't even have a consistent approach
Correct.
to the markets. You can't trade one day the New York session, then switch to the Asian, then the next day the London session and expect to have a consistent P&L
Yep.
because the markets are gonna move differently during each one of those sessions. So you need to start with a consistent foundation first and a consistent approach before you can expect anything else to become consistent.
That was a good ending. Honestly, guys, Raul just ended the video. I really appreciate you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you click the link in the description to go to our website for MarketMemo, and make sure you start learning what type of trader you want to be and you actually are, because that is going to drive you to where you want to get to. We talked about the NBA, the MLB, the NFL. Stats run everything. Data is the key to everything, and make sure you track it yourself. Appreciate you guys for watching the video. Make sure you guys watch the next one.
Peace.